Okay, well, what we do know, and what I'll ask you to take some notes on now, it's going a little more back to the slides and actually the handout as well. We basically have two drugs that we are currently approved for Alzheimer's disease. The drugs work on the psychopharmacological level. One thing that we've noticed is if you look at the pathology on the drawing there before, we noticed that when people get Alzheimer's disease, we see a big loss of acetylcholine. So the first big treatment out there were actually products that targeted increasing acetylcholine. The name of the big product, and it's on the handout page, the word file, something called Aricept, donepezil. Some of you may have heard of this before. If you look at this, the abstract I gave you is a phase 3 clinical trial, so lots and lots of data was collected. Look what it actually says, a selective acetylcholinesterase inhibitor. So I'd expect you to be able to understand what that basically means. So when acetylcholine is in the synapse, the thing that usually destroys acetylcholine is something called acetylcholinesterase. So acetylcholinesterase usually destroys acetylcholine. So if you give a product that blocks that enzyme, it's kind of like a double negative. It's actually Aricept is an acetylcholine agonist. It's increasing the amount of acetylcholine. That seems to help people to some degree with Alzheimer's disease. You can see this 15-week study where they looked at this kind of stuff. I think I've got a picture on the slide showing this kind of thing as well. What seems to be the case for this and other products is it might maintain things a bit, but it's really not going to be a big help for a lot of these things. So Aricept was one of them. There are other products as well. Exelon, Reminil are some. If you look at that picture, you can see the mini mental state test. Basically, when you take something like Aricept, it might maintain somebody for a period of time, but they will still deteriorate. The probable reason for this is because if you remember back to the pathology, the neurotransmitter changes are very much at the end of the pipeline. So it's not really fixing the problem. The other product that is now actually approved, and I think I've got another abstract or two about it, is something called Namenda. I don't think I gave it its correct name there. I called it by its other name. It's a study name, memantine. So it's actually called Namenda, N-A-M-E, name, N-D-A. So it's called Namenda. It seems to be a product that blocks glutamate receptors. So it blocks glutamate receptors, and in a key pivotal trial that you actually have the abstract on, they gave people who had Aricept acetylcholine product the memantine, the Namenda, and they actually found that when you combine both of them, it seemed to help people a fair amount with functionality. But once again, these products don't really do that much. They seem to help out a bit, but they're not going to fix the disease. That's why some of these newer things coming out will hopefully help more people, make the pharmaceuticals more money per se. So the idea that I want to kind of express here at the end, Alzheimer's is a devastating disease from the human side of the equation. And places like the Alzheimer's Association are good things to know about. These clinical trials are good as well. And you should kind of be aware of these things. The biomedical research, hopefully you understand the purpose of the ADNI study and what it's trying to get done. They were looking at a lot of different elements that might predict Alzheimer's disease. We know a lot about the pathophysiology. We're trying to work on new treatments all the time, but we still got a long way to go. So hopefully this makes sense. I may actually have a little extra assignment I have you do on the Alzheimer's bit. I'll see. But if not, type up the notes and the summary for this long presentation. Thank you, everyone.